guys, it's Dani. Today we are going to work with Catasetum Orchids, or whatever's left of my Catasetum collection, because today is not gonna be a very happy video, but it really is time for the yearly repot for these guys. Not that I make it a mission to make a yearly video on them, but because they are dormancy orchids. So every year they lose all of their leaves and most of their roots, and they actually need repotting because the 2-year-old roots are going to wither off this year, and I don't want them breaking down in the fresh new medium. So it is advisable with Catasetum type orchids to repot them every year when they're coming out of their dormancy. The problem with my Catasetum is I did a little bit of an experiment last year. You might remember I tried growing them outside, and well, I have to say I wasn't very happy about it because they are such a magnet for pests, all sorts of pests. Then come winter, since these orchids are dormancy orchids, they don't actually need light or anything of the sorts. I decided, why don't I try to keep them outside? Because my greenhouse is already a little bit overcrowded in the winter time. Well, bad choice. And I think you can start to see the outcome of my decision. So let's get the main subjects in frame. These two, to be fully honest, I don't know if I can save. So what I did was I didn't really keep them in the rain or anything of the sorts. I just pulled them back. But the thing is, I think it was a little bit too cold for them. Mind you, I don't have freezing conditions. I have a pretty warm climate, but it can get a little bit cold. Under 10 degrees Celsius, that's for sure. And if the wind is a little bit too strong, then it can actually feel even colder than that. Again, no freezing conditions, but it appears that for these guys, it was a little bit too cold. So either the cold temperatures, either the fact that the wind carried moisture or rain or something to their place, I don't know. They were not soggy, and yet I have quite a lot of rotting going on the older pseudobulbs. I will go ahead today and repot these guys, put them in fresh medium, and I'll keep them in the greenhouse this year pretty much forever, I think. But the thing is, I don't think I can save these guys because I thought these pseudobulbs were good until I actually pressed on them. So with that said, let's start with these guys, see what's what, because I feel like they're the worst. So I'll start with the Cycnotus Wine Delight, and I think you can see the problem here. The base of the pseudobulb is completely mush. I don't think I can save anything, but I will do something. This is a total experiment. I don't really believe it will work, but I'm willing to do anything at this point. I will completely remove the pseudobulb and try to see if it wants to create a new growth. It's not funny, honey. There we go, from somewhere here. Do you see all of this darkened portion of the pseudobulb? Yeah, that is the infection. It is advancing. I cannot just leave it there. I need to pretty much carve it out. So I need to go into good tissue, and at this point I wish, I think I actually have a bigger cutter. Hold on. I do have a bigger cutter. So what I will do is cut. Oh my goodness. If everything would have been green, I think we would have had some chances, but now I don't know. I will continue to cut. I still have infection here. Let me just sterilize my cutter again. Okay, this is entirely clean. So what I have left here is a piece of pseudobulb with hopefully some available eyes. My hope is that I do have some available eyes here for the orchid to create a growth. This can happen. Typically, Catasetum orchids don't create new growth from the upper eyes, but in case of extreme issues, such as this case, they can. And if you think about dendrobiums, the way they're propagated through cut sections of the pseudobulb, it's not all that far-fetched. To be fully honest, I give this guy very, very, very extremely low chances of survival, but I wouldn't be happy with myself if I didn't try. Next, I'm gonna spray a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, and you can see it's actually foaming. That's normal, that's the hydrogen peroxide working. It is actually destroying a layer of cells, which is okay because I wanna seal off this big cut that I made. So it's been about 2 minutes. Now I will apply quite a generous layer of cinnamon, just like so. I want this section of the pseudobulb to callus over, just so I don't have issues with reinfection. And I think that's the best I can do under the circumstance. And I don't know what's gonna happen to this orchid, which is such a shame. But yeah, I learned my lesson, what to do. So what I will do now is just keep this orchid like this on a shelf. I'm not even going to put it on wet sphagnum moss or anything of the sorts. That's really not gonna do anything. And right now, I don't want to make sure that the roots have moist environment or anything of the sorts. I'm not expecting roots right now. I just want one of these eyes, maybe this one, to wake up and transform into a new growth. But of course, I will keep you up to date. If it happens, that would be great, right? When dealing with active infections on orchids, it's a very good idea to sterilize the working table, and I have here my jar of alcohol in which I sterilize my tools. I'm just gonna wipe this. And also, even though I washed my gloves, I'm just gonna disinfect them a little with alcohol as well. The pot itself can be washed with dish detergent and it's absolutely fine. I actually like to use a toilet cleaner, which has a little bit of bleach in it as well, but the medium inside needs to be thrown away. Next up, this guy. This is the yellow one. This is the Jumbo Puff Taeyong, which looks very, very similar to the Wine Delight. Let's see, I have 2 pseudobulbs which are rotted. This one, maybe it's good. That would be great. So here we have the 2 rotten pseudobulbs, and this guy does not look all that good, but does not look all that bad either. So what I will do is cut the rhizome and then take a closer look at the pseudobulb. So as we can see, this one is mushy as well. The other ones look even worse, so I think with this guy we're gonna do the exact same procedure, but being that the infection is not so advanced, maybe this guy has more chances. I'm gonna go sterilize my cutter again. Let's cut this pseudobulb. And look at that. That looks pretty good. All right, this pseudobulb, not sure if it can be saved. I will try, but I'm more interested in this one. So we still have a little bit of an infection here, but not much. Let me sterilize. I'm just gonna go over this part of the pseudobulb, and then let's see this pseudobulb. Oh, this one was okay. So I have 3 sections here that look viable. I'm hoping actually that I can save them. I'll do the exact same thing, put hydrogen peroxide, cinnamon, and just keep them on the shelf like this and see if any eye decides to wake up. Now, since there's nothing left to do, I will actually try another thing. I will try to make one of those eyes grow with the use of Cakey Grow paste. This is a plant hormone paste. It's not guaranteed to give results, but applied to the right growth and in the correct time of the year, it can actually yield nice results on Phalaenopsis at least. So there's no harm in actually trying it on one of these divisions, since I have 3 of them. The paste is still viable. I received this guy from Repotting a year or a year and a half ago. I am actually making a project off camera using this paste and it still works, I know for a fact, so it's not going to hurt to apply it. Will it give me results? I don't know. When dealing with plant hormones, you can never know for sure what's gonna happen unless you are a professional at it and you know what you're doing. But other than that, in our day-to-day hobby, you cannot really rely on this stuff to give you exactly what you want, but sometimes it can work. So I actually saw an eye. Let me get you in closer. Alrighty, so you see this little bump here? This is a dormant eye, and I will try to waken it up with the use of paste. Will it start to develop a flower spike? Possibly. Although it's not what I want. So I will put paste on this eye in the hopes that it will waken it up. All of these orchids today have minimal chances of survival, and it's pretty sad, but I'm gonna look at the positive part of things. I can make a video about it and help other people. And also I learned that it's not okay for these guys to sit outside in my climate. You'll see other people and other videos on YouTube with catasetums outside. That's great. My climate is just not suited for that. Not in the winter, not in the summer. So now, thankfully, my pride and joy when it comes to catasetums, which is the Fredclarkeara After Dark Black Pearl, is absolutely fine. And I was hoping for a flower spike because look how big the pseudobulb is this year. It did pretty okay, but in December it got a little bit chilly outside and I don't think he appreciated it. And although I moved the catasetums inside, I think it was a little bit too late. So I don't have a flower spike from this guy, but at least he's okay. So let's just go ahead and repot him. Alright, so sadly I peeled away the sheaths and look at that. The new pseudobulb has issues right here on the top, which means that I will have to remove the top part of the pseudobulb because this will spread. However, I'm happy that the bottom part is absolutely fine because this is where new growth will start. Furthermore, I discovered that this very old pseudobulb has a nubbin developing, and not only, I have a little guy just starting to swell here as well. This is what I'm hoping will happen to the other segments of the canes that we just cut earlier. But yeah, we'll see. I am pretty sure at this point that the damage is pretty much caused by the cold temperature because really there was no water on these guys. And usually when there's a water issue, the base will go away first because there's that medium sitting very moist there. But this one looks pretty okay at the base. I only have issues here. So yeah, I think cold temperatures were to blame and I'm not happy with myself, but what to do? So I will have to remove all of this damage because it will go down. So I will go ahead and cut right here above this ring. This is not damage, it's the sheath discolored. So let's see how we look. We are looking great. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. A little bit of hydrogen peroxide. A little bit of cinnamon. Okay, so let's go ahead and pot this orchid. So I'm gonna go for my typical sphagnum moss and bark chips for the medium, and you're gonna have to excuse Joey, she's in a mood right now. She sang so much, her voice is raspy. And I'm also going to put just a few beads of this Osmocote. I did that last year and it worked really great. The orchid actually grew nice. Problem was the winter. Anyway, so I'm gonna mix my medium real fast. Okay, so that is enough for now. I'm not going to water this orchid. There is no need, there are no roots. I'm gonna see what happens to this pseudobulb and who decides to produce new growth. I'm really hoping that the new growth will decide to start a new pseudobulb as well, because on this side, I predict that the new growths will be pretty tiny and I'm not sure if they're gonna bloom, but I think at this point, blooms are the least of my worries. So let's go ahead and see about the other catasetums. Okay, so I'm happy to report that the other two catasetums are pretty okay. Luckily, the Monierera Millennium Magic Witchcraft, which is the black catasetum, is the healthiest. I have a new growth right here, which is already rooting, and I do have another nub swelling here. I don't see signs of rotting. All you see here is just those sheaths. It's not the actual pseudobulb, so this one looks the best, which is great. However, the Pierre Courette, I removed the older section of the plant and I'm left with this, which I believe looks pretty decent. Let me show you why I removed the older part. I looked at the rhizome and it didn't look right. Look at that. Everything looked like this. So I decided to only keep this part of the plant. So I'll go ahead and pot them up just like I did with the Fredclarkeara. I will actually use some pots without ventilation holes because these guys, when they're in full growth mode in the summertime, they dry out so fast for me. I have issues keeping them hydrated, and I can make sure that the roots are okay, airy enough anyway, even without the ventilation slits. So I'll go ahead and arrange the medium really fast. So that's about it on the disaster that is my Catasetum collection this year. Hey, what to do? It happens. One more thing about the extra ventilation holes. These guys will also help you with layering. If you have issues with medium staying way too moist at the bottom and very dry at the top, the extra ventilation holes, particularly towards the bottom of the pot, will help you out. However, if you have a sphagnum moss mixture, layering is typically not a huge problem. So with these guys, I will not have issues with layering or with lack of ventilation. At some point during the summer, they will drink everything that I throw at them. But anyway, I'll keep you up to date with the segments. Hopefully something will sprout. If not, yeah, I need to get myself another Signotus White and Delight because it's one of my favorites. Alrighty, so with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something because I'm not sure how enjoyable this was. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!